The Radio 1 Breakfast Show with Nick Grimshaw.
Good morning, Kimberley.
Morning.
Good morning, Francis.
Morning.
And good morning, Ruby.
Hi.
Hello, everybody.
The Radio 1 Breakfast Show with Nick Grimshaw.
That's right, we've got the 3 finalists of the Bake Off on the show. No big deal. Well, it is a big deal because everyone is having a panic attack about this. Seriously. Everyone in Radio 1 wanted to come in early. Zane Lowe was talking about on his radio programme last night, interrupting some cool record to talk about this, and inundated with texts. Have you been surprised at the reaction that you've all had since going on Bake Off?
It's been surprising.
Yeah.
Still in shock.
Still in shock. What about when you're out in the street? Do people recognise you?
Yeah, no, they are starting to recognise. You think sort of if you don't make eye contact, but then no, they are recognising you, particularly if you're in the biscuit aisle at the supermarket.
Constantly. Just constantly in the biscuit aisle. Yeah. What about you, Ruby? Has that been happening to you? Have people been like, hey, Ruby, off Bake Off?
Yeah, it's terrifying. There have been times when I've had to put down my ready roll puff pastry in the supermarket in case the shame if anyone sees me at the checkout.
You have to constantly be like, no, I made this. I just put it in the packaging. Have people been coming up to you, Kimberley, and been going, you're Kimberley from the Great British Bake Off?
Yeah, really lovely people. I got stopped by Max and Chantel yesterday on Oxford Street. I had a little photo. And they were
did
lovely.
you?
Yeah, they were gorgeous.
And do people ask you for baking tips when they run into you?
I think they sort of expect you to whip up a batch of cookies right there on the street.
Yeah.
A few eggs in your bag and stuff. So, yeah.
You should do that, I think. I think it's selfish that you don't you're not providing that service to the great people of Britain. I see that there is some gift here this morning.
There's some biscuit squirrels coming your way.
Interested in those. I'm very interested
With
in those.
whole nuts.
Oh, amazing. I'm very excited. Did you make those last night?
They were made last night, yeah.
Are you never bored of baking? Are you never I can't bother today?
Just want a salad.
Yeah. Just want a bit of Uncle Ben or something.
Did have to take a little break after.
We did. We all
Get
had
all
a sabbatical,
finished.
didn't we? A bit like Glastonbury. Had a bit of a sort of few weeks off before coming back to it all. So.
I like that, a few weeks off, like Glastonbury. A few weeks off before
a year.
Yeah, a little break for a week or something. I watched last night because I missed the semi-final last Tuesday because I was working last Tuesday night, and I watched it last night. So tense last night. It's kind of unnerving to watch. It sort of starts really nice, as you know, on the Bake Off, and it's all friendly, and Mary Berry's nice, and it's the field. And then the more you get into it, it gets you like a thriller. It gets intense. Is it as tense when you're there, Kimberley, when you're baking in there? Does it feel tense, or is it just the music in the edit?
No, it really is. I think, and especially that week, we were pretty silent all the way through because we were so focused on everything we were doing. There was no time for banter. There usually was.
And do you find that tough, the pressure, Francis? Does that add on, do you think, when you are cooking? Because it's quite scary cooking anyway, because that dish last night that looked like the brain.
Oh.
What's that called?
The blancmange. Charlotte Royale.
Yeah.
Regal about her.
No.
No.
I didn't like the look of anyone's. No offence. That's not my kind of dessert, though.
I think it's the final colouring in kind of ectoplasm slime that really did
No
it at the
banoffee
end.
pie, is it?
No, it's not really, no. It's not really one of a dream of mine's. Ruby, yours actually did look like a brain. I mean, you said this, so I'm not...
Yeah, it was disgusting. Absolutely horrible. I'm ashamed.
Did it taste good?
Well,
They did. They all tasted good.
I don't get to taste mine.
it's not my thing.
No.
It's not my thing.
It's too sloppy.
Yeah.
It's like mush, that one.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think we should do that one again. Next series. I don't think we do it at all. We don't do it at all. But we were saying the pressure when you're watching it, Ruby, is quite terrifying. Do you feel that when you're in there? Because you always seem quite well, you're neither happy nor sad. You're always just Ruby, aren't you?
Just there.
You're just there baking. But does it ever get terrifying to the point where you're I actually can't bake anymore?
Well, I'm surprised at the fact that I don't come across like I'm having a breakdown, because I was constantly having a breakdown. That's probably why I was so quiet in there, because I was just... My heart was pounding too hard to even speak. I was a mess.
What was the scariest bit for you? Is it when they come out to judge?
No, probably just before a challenge is started, because you suddenly remember you've forgotten to ask for an ingredient or something. Yeah.
And you're I totally can't do this. Is there anything that you started on the show at any point where you were this isn't going to work out?
All the time.
Just every week. And was there any anything on it that we didn't see on camera that was just terrible that you had to just throw in the bin? Or were you kind of too good for that, aren't you?
No, there's quite a lot of that going on. You try and hide it, but then you forget there were 5 cameras there. It's like burning microwaves and just shut the door on it. It's like the whole tent's filled with smoke and everyone's like, what's that burning smell? I'm like, it's fine, it's fine.
It's Ruby.
Yeah.
I think it must have been Ruby or Kimberley or something like that. Does it feel like a fight when you're in there? Do you? Because it does seem like that you all get on and it seems nice. So like we always say, the tent looks nice. The bunting gives the illusion that it's quite friendly. Does it feel like there's a fight in there? Like, I want to win this. Does it feel quite tense between each other?
I thought we were pretty rubbish at being competitive most of the time.
Can we have a spoon? Yeah, you have a spoon.
Like,
You take the last spoon.
For all the technical challenges, we'd all be like, oh, so how should we do it? Yeah, okay, what's the best plan? And we'd all be helping each other out, which probably didn't help.
You can't help people. Got to win this. The finalists tonight. Did you ever think that when you all started out that you would reach the final of Bake Off?
I don't think so.
Be honest.
No.
Don't go, oh no, we didn't. Oh no, we didn't. You must have thought, like, I can kill this. I'm going to do this.
You sort of hope, but you kept shutting down that thought because you're like, no, it's not going to happen. So it was like, I kept on like bringing it back to like sporting analogies, but it was like a race or going over the next hurdle, and then it was like, oh my lord, we can see the line. Yeah.
Yeah.
So-
Did you ever think you were going to go? Was it ever like, okay, this is my week, I've done it terrible, now I'm going?
Sure.
But
I
yeah.
thought I was going Biscuit Week.
Yeah.
For sure.
Biscuit Week.
It was all over.
We don't talk about that week.
It was
What happened on Biscuit Week? What was the drama on Biscuit
It
Week?
was just a mound of
That was-
crumbs. It was like,
Style over structure on my occasion.
Oh, well, you get that all the time, Francis. Does that get annoying when Paul and Mary are like saying, too much style? You're like, I can't help it if I'm stylish, sister.
SOS. Yeah.
I really can't help it. Why do you think the show is so good? Because if I worked in BBC Two and someone came up to me and said, here's the idea. It's people baking in a tent in a field. I'd be like, yes. And what else happens? But it's so watchable. Why were you fans before you entered Bake Off?
I think it's just like how everyone's just completely become obsessed with baking and everything. And I think Mel and Sue also make it such an amazing show.
Yeah.
Like the comedy banter and the baking innuendos. Like literally, we said there should be Bake Off on the cooling rack because the amount of stuff that isn't caught on camera, it's just hilarious. So
They are amazing, aren't they?
brilliant.
yeah.
They're so good. Do they ever get in the way, Ruby, when you're... Because, I mean, is it Mel? Mel's been quite aggressive with you. She's threatened to
Yeah, but I requested, that was a special request.
Yes.
I needed a talking to, and she gave me that.
She
That was
offered
very necessary.
She offered to slap you on last week,
Yes.
which I really like. Would you like me to slap you? You're like, no. Do the brain. I'll finish the brain. Does our producer Matt Fincham remind you of anyone out of Mel and Sue? Maybe Sue. I think he looks just like Sue.
I do not look like Sue Perkins.
Do you have the picture?
There's a
Well,
screensaver.
yeah.
Look here, look at this.
Yes.
I mean, it's
the
quite
glasses.
similar.
Yeah,
I need some
You
glasses.
need some glasses and then
I
Halloween.
think Ian, who works on the show, you haven't met him yet. I think he looks more like Sue.
yeah.
Do you? In that
Do a
picture?
cross, fuse them
Yeah.
together.
Who do you
We-
think's more Sue? And we can finally put this to bed. Ian or Matt?
I think Matt.
I do think
Oh,
that.
cheers, Ruby.
Oh, you're more Sue.
It's the eyes. It's the eyes.
It is the eyes. Yeah.
And the wit and charisma, right?
Yeah, of course. I mean, of course, yeah, the hilarious innuendo, of course, that is littered throughout the show. We have some clips here of some of that innuendo. You might want to put your headphones on to have a listen to these. Do you have some? There we go. Everyone's got them on. It is outrageous, the innuendo. I mean, they must be doing it on purpose, just to get an innuendo bingo.
Is that big enough? Because it says to make 6. Now that's the size of the spoon.
I'm seeing Becca do it. She has quite big ones.
Love Ali.
That's a simple one. That's quite good, that one.
What can I do, love?
This one I think is my favourite one.
What can I do, love? Tidy. I need to tidy.
Well, it's okay, because any of these bits might actually be vegetables at the moment. Oh, my little knob's falling out.
I mean, that's
Christine.
an incredible one. Matt Finn. Oh, sorry, Sue. You're up next.
Yeah.
Paul
very
and
good.
Mary would like you, please, to make 8 religieuses, which means nun in French. 8 little nuns.
I've never eaten a nun before.
I mean, it's constant. Sometimes it's like too much. Sometimes it's like the rudest thing I've ever watched, Great British Bake Off. I feel like I have to have a shower afterwards. It's filthy. Right, well, we're going to play a song. We're going to play some Jake Bugg. And then we have a challenge for you, which we... Well, initially it was going to be really good. We were going to get... Have you ever heard of a power plate?
Yeah.
The things that you vibrate on. We were going to get you to ice a wedding cake on one of those. But it didn't get past health and safety, which I imagine you're all devastated about. But we have another challenge for you. We're going to play a record, and then we're going to put your skills to the test after Jake Bugg. Santa Jake Bugg on Radio 1 this morning. If you go online, bbc.co.uk/Radio 1 right now, the cameras are on. You'll be able to see Ruby. Good morning.
Hello.
You'll be able to see Francis. Good morning.
Morning.
And you'll be able to see Kimberley. Hello.
Morning.
Hi. You see before your eyes now 3 cakes. Now, initially, this was going to be a game where you would have to do this on a power plate. But a power plate was too outrageous for Radio 1. So, yeah, power cake, that's what we should have called it, Francis. Fiona, that noise is terrifying on a microphone, that plastic. Fiona's frantic, their shop bought, sorry. We lead busy lives.
All cake's good.
We didn't have time, sorry. So what we thought we'd do is see who is the best at icing, okay? Is icing a particular problem for anybody? Is this a thing that... Oh, Kimberley and Ruby. You were just on Bake Off! We have... Let's start with you, Kimberley.
Okay.
We are gonna give you like 2 minutes each, maybe?
Yeah.
Yeah, 2 minutes.
2 minutes per contestant.
I have 3 envelopes of what you could draw. They are labelled 1, 2, and 3. What would you like, Kimberley, from the Great British Bake Off?
I'll take 3, please.
You're going to take number 3. Okay, there you go. There's number 3. If you'd like to open the envelope, Kimberley, and see what you have to draw this morning. All quite simple things.
A representation of a decadent daydream in the summer of 1801.
Good request, yes. If you could get on with that, that'd be great. Thank you. Yeah. A representation of a decadent daydream in 1801. Kimberley's going to go on with that. We'll leave her to it. We'll do some talking about the television programme. Have you been able to watch yourselves since you've been on it? Do you, Francis and Ruby, have people round at your house every Tuesday to watch it, or can you not bear to watch yourselves back?
Yeah, no, we've been having like bake-off parties and stuff. It's been really sweet. People have been like inviting everyone round, but I'm normally just sort of like rocking in the corner of the sofa. So I think I've caused more amusement people watching me on the sofa than actually on the television.
Yeah, it's quite a weird thing to watch yourself on the telly, because you never really see the side of your head in real life, do you? And you're like, oh, that's what I look like. Yeah. Have you been watching, Ruby? Can you sit and watch it with your friends, or does it make you want to cringe, or do you like it?
It's painful. It's what a painful experience. It's really difficult to watch. I think I need to be a bit inebriated before I watch it.
Oh, really? Have a little shandy before you watch something like that. And what about your friends? Are they all super encouraging? Are they completely obsessed with it now, Ruby?
Yeah, they're loving it, because obviously they like to... tell me how embarrassing I am on a day-to-day
they
basis. So this
that?
is even better for them. They've got so much ammunition.
Really? There's been a bit of mild bullying from friends. Yeah. Do they constantly harass you to make you cook for things? Are they like, why don't you come over and make a cake or something?
They're not that shameless, actually.
No?
No, it's fine.
Yeah, I would. My friend Anna is a really good cook. And whenever I'm like feeling a little bit tired or a little bit hungover, I'm always like, what are you doing today? Should I come over? Maybe should you make a nice curry?
I feel like chocolate.
Yeah, I feel like a nice cake or something like that. Are you ever nervous, or your friends actually ever nervous now, Francis, now that you've been on the television, as we've seen, a lot of style, perfectionist. Are your friends nervous to make food for you?
Yeah, that's a horrible thing. People are like, no, I'm not making a cake for you anymore. I'm like, no, fine. Or at work, if people bring like baked goods in, they're like, oh, no, I can't.
Francis is there. She's going to judge us. She's really going to judge us. Who do you think is the scariest person on that show? Do you think it's Mary Berry, or do you think it's Paul Hollywood?
Berry, isn't it? It's both of them.
Oh, yeah. Mary's scarier by far.
Do you think Mary's scary?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
When she looks at you with a look of disappointment, it's like upsetting your nan.
And you never want to upset your nan,
terrible.
do you?
It's really
no. Have you finished your Decadent Daydream?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, let's have a look. Can we see this? Can we see this? Kimberley had the task of icing a cake to represent a decadent daydream. In 1801.
1801. Yeah.
1801. Great challenge there. Okay. Okay, Francis, you're up next. Would you like envelope 1 or envelope 2?
I'm going for 2.
And then this is going to represent who's the best at this, who the winner is tonight. You're going to go for number 2. Let's see what you have to ice, Francis. There's your envelope this morning. Okay, see if it's any easier.
The Sistine Chapel.
Oh, yeah, quite hard to ice on a cake, yeah. So we'll be back with you in 14 days, if you can get on with that, Francis.
I think because we're running late for the news, Ruby should do her cake at the same time.
Oh, OK, we can do it over the news?
Yes.
Do you want to do it over the news, then we'll see how they got on after the news?
Yes.
That's quite handy, isn't it?
Yes.
OK, Ruby, you have the third and final envelope now, which I'm going to pass over to you, so we can get into the news and you can do that. You are left with number 1. Let's see what Ruby is going to ice during the 8 a.m. news.
Magna Carta.
Oh, OK. Well, while Francis and Ruby ice some cakes, we'll go to the news. The Magna Carta and the Sistine Chapel coming up. But now here's Tina.
Listen, watch, share.
Radio 1 Newsbeat, it's 5 minutes past 8.
Thank you, Tina Dahealy. We now cross over live to the Great British Radio Bake Off. Kimberley has done her cake, which you can see online if you want to go and see, bbc.co.uk/Radio1. Francis, have you finished?
I don't think you can call it finished.
Francis, what did you have to draw again? The Sistine Chapel. And it definitely looked like something else.
Got a bit of imagination.
Yeah. Very imaginative. Yeah. And Ruby, you had to do the Magna Carta.
I did.
The ye old tapestry on a £3 sponge cake. How have they done? Because I actually can't see from over here. Fiona, do you want to be our judge? Do you want to be the Mary Berry and Paul Hollywood combined? Mary Hollywood.
As I made a bit of a dodgy yellow icing for them to use.
Why is the icing yellow, Fiona?
Because I used a BBC mug to mix it in, and I think the stained coffee mug has turned the icing yellow. So they've got
that
a
won't go through on the technical.
They've got a dodgy coffee flavoured icing naturally. With a broken can of whipped cream, and I think they've done very well considering.
Okay, so who would you say, using the things that you've given them, which is a can of whipped cream, which I didn't see on Bake Off this year, a sad admission, and also some coffee stained icing. Who would you say? Is it Ruby? Is it Francis? Or is it Kimberley?
I've got to say it's Francis.
Do you think it's Francis?
She's got 3D layers going on.
Oh, Francis with 3D layers. The winner
Pretty wrong.
of our Great British Radio Bake Off this morning. That's quite good, isn't it?
We're going to tweet a picture of the
Twite
cakes.
them.
A twite. Twite the cakes after.
Okay. Ladies, thank you for coming in. Congratulations for getting through to the final. And we'll be watching tonight, 8 o'clock, BBC 2, to find out who the winner is. It's going to be very exciting. Ruby, thank you for coming in.
Thank you.
Thank you, Francis.
Thank you.
Thank you, Kimberley.
Thank you.
We'll see you on the telly tonight.
The Radio 1 Breakfast Show with Nick Grimshaw.